Manish Tiwari, I want you to come into this debate. Also, you're from the ruling party. What's the time frame of patience or waiting for a response from Islamabad? How much time are you willing to give them?
Well, first of all, Arnab, let's understand one thing very clearly. This is a disingenuous argument being made again. There's hair splitting being done that this is not a dossier of evidence, it's a dossier of information. You know, it's high time that they got out of the state of denial, because let's understand something very clearly, that in jurisprudence there is something called prima facie evidence. And what has been given to Pakistan over the last 1 month, not only by India but by the United States of America and other people who've been monitoring the situation, is much more than prima facie evidence. So rather than doing this hair splitting, you know, it's time that the Pakistanis come clean, they stop hedging, and insofar as timelines are concerned, let me make it very clear that our patience is not interminable. Yesterday, you had the Pakistani foreign minister saying that we do not have an extradition treaty, that is why we cannot hand over people to India. Let me draw the attention of my Pakistani friends to the SAARC Regional Convention on Suppression of Terrorism. Article 3, subclause 4 very clearly says that even if an extradition treaty does not exist, this document, this covenant can become the basis of extradition. So it all boils down to intention. And the manner in which the Pakistani establishment has been behaving post the Mumbai attack leads people in India to conclude that this was not an attack carried out by non-state actors. Somewhere the Pakistani state was involved. So today the Pakistani state also stands in the dock, and the sooner they deliver on it, they would be able to allay apprehensions not only in India but across the world, that they as an establishment are not involved in what happened in Mumbai.
Okay, Imtiaz Gol, a follow-up to that, I have a question for you. Now, you used the word coherent, Imtiaz, there, when you said, is this coherent evidence? This is your word. Now, it can get more coherent. It can get more specific. Why then is Pakistan not letting it get more specific? Why is Pakistan not allowing the FBI to go to Kasaf's village A? Why is Pakistan not okay with a DNA test matching Kasaf's father with Kasaf himself, which is the only proof that is required right now?
Well, I think any step that helps in investigation and determining the culprits behind such attacks must be allowed, must be permitted, and I think there should be no bar, no obstruction by the Pakistani government either, which again I think sort of finds itself in a very, very difficult situation, because the Interpol chief was here, and Pakistan government also demanded that if the Interpol could be provided access to Kasab to help expedite the matter. And I think there is a very legitimate question being asked here in Pakistan: why does India not provide access or hand over the issue, the entire case, to Interpol? I think that would also lend credibility to the entire process. So that's very, very critical, because on both sides there is the absence of very missing.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Briefly, but yes, go ahead.
It's again a very disingenuous argument which is being made. The crime was committed in Mumbai. The terror attack was perpetrated in Mumbai. And here we are being asked that you hand over or outsource the investigation to somebody else. You know, the trial will not take place in India, it will take place in Pakistan. I mean, what kind of jurisprudence are we talking about? After all, we've inherited almost the same legal system. Pakistan also follows the same legal system. And one thing which they understand very clearly is that a trial can only take place where the crime has been perpetrated.
But the trial will take place only after having...
And insofar as the Interpol is concerned, let me remind my friend that Dawood Ibrahim and various other terrorists who are living in Pakistan are on the Interpol list. Red corner notices have been issued.
Let them respond,
Interpol
Manish.
has repeatedly taken it up with them. Have they delivered to the
Manish,
Interpol?
we are losing satellite time. Let him respond.
No, but has the Interpol asked for access to Dawood Ibrahim if he is in Pakistan? You know, we shouldn't really kick up this hysteria.
Repeatedly.
We shouldn't really trade allegations.
Repeatedly.
We have to really very dispassionately address the entire issue. You cannot corner a state basically.
It is that the most crucial piece of information is the conversation, and this Brigadier Kader had earlier referred to, that if I make a phone call to you and if I am a terrorist, do you also become a terrorist? I think that's a fallacious argument. Essentially, the point is the terrorists and their minders were talking about the specific military operation and how to carry it forward. The second point is, and Brigadier General Qureshi would understand this better as a military man, that when he talked of air intrusions, aircrafts, when in a battle mode, do not unnecessarily stray into another country's territory. Even if there was a so-called technical error, it was probably a technical error. If the Indian Armed Forces were looking to strike Pakistan, those aircrafts would not go into a jaunt into Pakistani territory. The third aspect is that the military build-up, which Pakistan keeps talking about, they are casually referring to the traditional military exercises that are taking place on the India-Pakistan border, about which Pakistan was well intimated months in advance about the usual military activity. I want to come to two other points, and one is, Mr. Imtiaz had brought out the point that you cannot corner a state. You can corner a state when the state makes its foreign policy an act of terror. A terrorist is a terrorist, period. We don't need further definitions. When you kill innocent people, whoever is behind that, whether it's a state or a non-state actor, there's a price to pay. What has happened in this case, three things have gone wrong. One is that the American citizens that have been killed and therefore brought America into fray, whereas earlier evidence given to America had been ignored by the United States. Secondly, Qasab lived. Pakistan's minders did not expect him to live. They expected them either to all die or to disappear. And the third aspect which has gone wrong for Pakistan this time is that their military build-up has not been responded by India in a tit-for-tat action. And therefore, Pakistan is now left blaming India for heightening the tension.